Good evening and welcome to the Girl Talk Sunday podcast. I am your host, Sandy Best Life Jones, and I'm here to help women just like you from all over the world discover the purpose and the plan for your life through honoring God, honoring your body, and owning your worth. Yes, we are a faith based platform, but all who come in peace are welcome. All right. So tonight, my guest tonight is here to share her story in her own way and in her own words, in hopes that it will serve as a cautionary tale for not just young people, but young, old, and everything in between. Um, she went through a harrowing experience, and now she understands that our decisions have consequences and repercussions, and sometimes those repercussions leak on to other people. but she wants to talk about that in her own words tonight. And so I want to make sure that she feels welcome, she feels safe, and we're just going to let her share her story. But before we do that, I want to read just a little bit about her story, just to give it a little context. I want to make sure that um, my viewers know that parts of this conversation might be disturbing. And so, viewer discretion is advised. And if you feel yourself being triggered, please do whatever you need to do to guard your mental health. All right. All right. So, on the evening of November 14th, 2021, a man apparently was sleeping on a discarded couch along South Meridian in the Puyallup area when a vehicle driven by my guest, Miyeko, struck and killed him. Neither the driver nor responding police officers knew the victim was buried under a pile of debris in the initial minutes following the collision. Miyeko was arrested at the scene for suspicion of driving under the influence, and she was charged November 15th by the Pierce County Prosecuting Attorney's Office with vehicular homicide for the death of the 59-year-old man. Initially, Miyeko thought that she had hit another vehicle, and so she called the police herself to report that she'd hit a vehicle. And of course, she was given a field sobriety test that she failed. And one of the police officers just happened to see a pile of debris on the side of the road, went over to investigate, moved some things around, and that's when he saw the gentleman that was hit as Miyeko drove down the road. And so I want to, before I bring her out, I want to make sure that all of you can hear me and that you can see me. I want to make sure that the Wi-Fi connection is clear because we want Miyeko to be able to share her story in a way that can be heard. So put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. And while you're putting your 1s in the chat, put a heart in the chat too. That's for Miyeko. I want to make sure that she feels welcome tonight. I think this goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. The Girl Talk Sunday podcast is a safe and brave space for people to come and share their stories in hopes that those that are watching can apply whatever lesson my guest learned to their own life. And so we don't play gotcha over here. We don't condemn people here. We welcome people with open arms. We show compassion and we show empathy. And it's going to be exactly that way tonight. I want to make sure that I make that part clear. I see, okay, I see the ones in the chat. I see the hearts in the chat. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, I'm going to bring Miyeko out because of what I'm about to tell her is going to make her laugh. Hi, Miyeko.
Hi.
I was so serious about saying your name right that I wrote it down phonetically on a piece of paper because it's a little bit annoying to me when people pronounce my name incorrectly. So I'm really careful to make sure that I pronounce people's names correctly. So
I've
thank
heard
you.
my way pronounced in every which way that it doesn't even offend me anymore because I'm just used to it.
Well, welcome to the Girl Talk Sunday podcast, and thank you again for agreeing to be my guest tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome. So we're going to dive right into what happened, and I'm going to let you share what happened that night, November 14th, 2021. First, I want to ask you, how old were you on that night?
24.
24.
24.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and that was 4 years ago. So you're 28 now or going on 28?
I'll be 28 in May this year.
Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So walk us through the evening from the time you left to go to the party to when you got to the party to when you left to leave the party.
Okay. So I was invited to a friend of a friend's birthday party. It was like a game night type of thing. So I had a really, excuse my language, but shitty car. I had like a 2007, 2008 Saturn. So
Mhm.
it got me where I needed to go when I needed to go there, but it wasn't a reliable car. So I was
Mhm.
driving from where I lived in University Place all the way to Puyallup towards
Mhm.
Meridian pretty much. And so I met my friend at her house and we drove together in her car to the birthday party, which was
Mhm.
I think in like Federal Way or Renton, I believe. I can't remember. So we were there and we went to the party and everything. We're playing games because it's a different game night and stuff like that. They had jungle juice, and if you know about jungle juice, you don't know how much of what or what is in there exactly. So I remember I had like maybe two, three at the most
What's it
shots.
called?
Jungle juice, like
What was?
uh,
Oh, jungle juice. Okay, I didn't hear what you
yeah,
said. Okay.
yeah. So jungle juice and like maybe two or three
Okay.
shots. But then we're playing games. She had like a cute little like selfie station up and everything. And so it was just a cool
Mhm.
girls' night. It was nothing but girls there, pretty much, having fun and everything. It was about 1 o'clock or so, 1:30 ish, that we left. And when we were leaving, it had started raining. Like at first, it was just a little sprinkle, but then as we were driving back to Puyallup, it started pouring like hard. And I hate driving in the rain. But at the time, I couldn't stay the night at my friend's house because it wasn't her house to begin with. She was kind of moving from house to house. So there was no room for me to spend the night, pretty much. So I had to go home. But I felt like I was good enough to drive. I felt I could remember the night. I wasn't slurring. I wasn't falling asleep at the wheel. I wasn't, like blurred vision or anything. I knew where I was going. I had my GPS on and everything. I knew where I was. I was at a red light, maybe a couple blocks from my friend's house, literally like a couple blocks. I'm at a red light. I'm texting my friend that I'm on my way home, and then the light turns green. But there's a car beside me that's trying to get ahead of me for
Mhm.
some reason. So I tried to speed up, and when I did that, my car started hydroplaning. So when I
Mm.
hydroplaned, it went over a curb, and I've never been in an accident before, but I just remember holding the wheel, but my eyes are closed because I'm terrified. So I remember going over a curb, going over like another curb, and then just like that, everything was over with.
Mhm.
So my car is like way over here, but like the garbage cans and everything else is on the opposite side. I'm like way like away from it. So I remember looking around, my airbag isn't deployed. My car isn't like up in smoke or anything. I tried to turn my car on, but it wouldn't turn on. Like it was making like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I think my axle was messed up really bad. So I called my grandma because that's she raised me. So that's my mom. That's everybody. I
Mhm.
let her know that I was in an accident, but I'm okay, and it doesn't look like anyone else around me is hurt. So I got the phone with her. I called the police, let them know that I had just gotten in an accident, not thinking that I was going to get arrested, not
Mhm.
thinking that, they're going to take me for a DUI or anything. And definitely not because I'm thinking someone's hurt. They just so happened to be in that area because as soon as I called, they came like within 2 or 3 minutes of me calling.
Mhm.
And so, Puyallup on Meridian, I'm behind like a Ram and a Total Wine. So like in the back of restaurants where like their big industrial garbage cans and stuff is, that's where I am. So I kind of walk up so they can see me, and I go like this so they know that I'm here. I take them to my car so they can see what happens. I tell them what happened, and at that point they gave me a field sobriety test.
Mhm.
Clearly, I failed it.
Mhm.
So at that time, my friend had just pulled up because, again, I'm not thinking I'm going to get arrested. I called her so she can give me a ride home, but I ended up getting arrested instead. And they told me that I was getting arrested for a DUI.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in the car. I'm handcuffed at this moment, still telling me that I'm arrested for a DUI, but I was a little bit confused because there's the caution tape that they put up already. So I'm like, okay, for a DUI. Again, I'm not used to this, so I'm not questioning anything. So they take me to, I think it's Good Sam that's in Puyallup. They take me there to do my blood, my BAC. We're there for about an hour or so. And then they end up putting me back in the car so I can go to Pierce County. This is on a Saturday night, so it's like Sunday morning at this point. So they,
Mm-hmm.
before we even pull off to leave, an officer that I haven't even seen opens the door and goes, "Ma'am, this just turned from a DUI to a vehicular homicide." And I'm distraught because I'm like, homicide means someone died. I'm alive. There's no one in the car with me, and there was no one else around. He said, "Well, after you left, we did some more digging and some more searching, and it turns out there was some, you hit a couch, and on that couch was a homeless person, and we believe that you ran over him with your car." So I'm arrested. I'm handcuffed. I mean, but I'm freaking out. I'm screaming. I'm like hyperventilating. And in the back of cop cars, you get like this much space. Like there's not, you're like knee to the seat. But I'm freaking out. And so I end up, they put me in on suicide watch. So you're in those uncomfortable, like turtle suits, naked. You're completely butt naked underneath there. They don't give you anything to sleep with. You're just sleeping on like this super thin mattress. But I didn't even sleep. I'm I'm scared. I'm confused. I'm angry. I'm worried. I hadn't got to talk to my grandmother that night. I didn't get to, she heard everything from my friend that I got arrested. I didn't get to explain anything to her, so I didn't get to talk to her until like maybe like the afternoon on Monday. Oh no, Sunday the afternoon. So I explained everything to her and I'm freaking out. So I have my bail hearing that Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I can
Well,
barely like
hold on
sorry.
one second. Let's stop right there. Okay, so you're driving down the road. It's raining really hard. Your car hydroplanes. And at that time, did you feel a bump or something? Did you feel
I
that you
just
hit
felt
something?
I felt the curb that I went over initially, but that's
Okay.
all. And I
Mm-hmm.
know I hit a compact of something, but it was hard. It wasn't like a bump as you would think that a body would feel like.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was completely confused.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll fast forward a little bit. My accident happened in November. We didn't get the
Mm-hmm.
autopsy results back till like March or April because they didn't know if the cause was me or if it was
Mm-hmm.
because of the substances he had in his system. So once they
Mm-hmm.
did that, they determined that his initial death was internal bleeding,
Mm-hmm.
and so they said he can
So
only
you
get that.
feel
Sorry, go ahead.
through being hit by the car.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I in the article that I read, it says that the couch he was sleeping on was covered in debris. Did you see the debris? Did you not
Actually, yes.
see the debris?
So when the cops came before they did my sobriety test, they actually walked me over to where I thought I hit something. So we
Mm-hmm.
go over by the trash cans. They take
Mm-hmm.
their flashlights, and anybody who knows cops, they have these bright ass lights, or excuse me, they have
Mm-hmm.
really bright lights.
Thank
So
you.
they're flashing everything, and they're like, "Do you see any parts of your car? Do you see
Mm-hmm.
anything that belongs to your car?" Only thing I saw was my headlight. That's the
Mm-hmm.
only thing. Everything else belonged to a Jeep, but nothing belonged to me. Nothing else was missing from my car. So that's why it was really confusing. And that's why I was confused when they said that they saw someone, because I'm like, where? They took me over to where both garbage cans were and where the couch was. So how did I not see it when the cops didn't see it either? And I'm really glad that the article put that in there, that neither driver nor police knew, because we both didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
I was shocked. Like, what do you mean? Like, these officers just took me over there and nothing was found.
Right.
That's why they
Okay.
told me initially that I was getting charged for a DUI. It wasn't until
Mhm.
hours later that they told me that it's now a vehicular homicide.
So you said when they arrested you, they took you to Good Samaritan Hospital to
Yes,
have your
ma'am.
blood tested. And for those who don't know, BAC is blood alcohol content. Is that what that stands for?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So they wanted to test your blood alcohol to see what the level was. The
Mm-hmm.
article that I read said that the state ma- maximum is 0.8
Yes.
and yours was 0.131.
And that was actually incorrect, which is why I
Mm,
got the time that I did,
mhm,
because once they took my blood that night,
mhm,
and they left my blood that they took in a police car for 2.5 weeks.
mm.
Didn't
Oh,
send it to the lab on time, so it was contaminated. So
right.
once they got it whatever they do, it came up to be 0.082 actually. So
Okay.
barely over the legal limit.
Right. Right.
And sorry, go ahead.
I was going to ask. So, as you were driving, did you feel any effects at all from the alcohol? And did you just have one glass of alcohol, one cup? Was it a full cup?
It was like a red solo cup,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I had like 3 shots.
Three shots
But
in the cup.
no, like shot glasses.
Oh, so a cup and three shots.
Yes, ma'am.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
And I'm very transparent. It's not my first time drinking and driving. So I
Mm,
felt like I was okay.
right.
I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I would be able to make it home.
Mm-hmm.
Like in my early 20s, I'm not a coward to admit that I've drunk and drive. I feel like everybody has drank and drive, even if it's Mike's Lemonade or whatever. But I have had drinks and driven before, and I felt perfectly okay, which is why I felt quote unquote comfortable enough to drive
Mm-hmm.
home, because I have done it so many times before.
Mm-hmm.
But I think of this way as a way of humbling myself,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
nobody should do it,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
So fast forward to after my accident.
Mm-hmm.
I got bailed out on that Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing my grandma tells me is, I just want to let you know. Well, she hugs me, of course, gives me lots of hugs and support, and lets me know that, it's going to be okay. And then she goes to tell me that it has now hit the news, and there's an
Mm-hmm.
article going around about it. And I was freaked out, because
Mm-hmm.
even like before I could tell my family, everybody else had already told my family. Like the night that it happened, somehow my mom's side of the family knew before. I was confused as to how or why, but they knew. And so I got home. I didn't have a phone because they took my phone for evidence, but I had like an extra spare phone, and I had a tablet. Excuse me. And so I'm reading the article, which is the article you just read.
Mm-hmm.
And, when people share it, you can see when people share it.
Yeah.
So it's people who I went to middle school with, people who I went to high school with, people I don't know, people who may just know me from passing, who had so much to say. I deserve this, or I'm a murderer, or how could she, just anything in the book. I was that. People at that time felt like they have never done anything bad before. Like they've never driven under the influence. Even if it's not alcohol, weed counts as under the influence as well. So I just
Mm-hmm.
had so many people, sticking their nose about me, because yes, I get it. Someone lost their life, and I will always, 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 always feel bad for that.
Mm-hmm.
Survivor's guilt is a thing, and it's one of the worst feelings you can ever have. And I still deal with it till this day. Even now, sometimes I feel like I shouldn't be out. I shouldn't be out even talking to you right now. I should still be in, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
And I dealt with that. A lot of the times when I was home and when my accident first happened, I didn't want to go out to eat. I cut all my hair off, because when I got arrested the first time of my accident, I actually pulled out a big chunk of my hair in the middle, because of how stressed out I was and scared I was. I cut my hair off. I always wore like dark clothes. I
Mm.
didn't want my house. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie, there was many times I contemplated and attempted suicide. Um, I had my own apartment, but I would stay at my grandma's house sometimes because she didn't want me to be alone. I didn't want to be alone. And at the time, between my
Mm-hmm.
grandmother and my now child's father, those two
Mm-hmm.
were like my safe haven at the time because I felt safe with those two. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to do anything. I just felt guilty, you know? So um fast
Yeah.
forward, um
So
January.
let
Oh,
me
sorry.
ask you. Let me ask you. Okay, can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. So, how much time lapsed between the when you were bailed out of jail and
Mhm.
you actually went to trial? How much time lapsed?
I never went to trial.
Oh, you never went to trial.
No,
Okay.
ma'am.
So, did you take a plea?
Yes.
Okay. So, when you went to take your plea, there was a hearing, correct?
Yes.
Before that hearing took place, had you been given the name of the victim?
Yes, I was given the name of my victim.
And we're not going to say his name. We're not going to say his name.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly when I was given to it, but yes. And
Mhm.
when my lawyer, we were going over everything, he was showing me evidence pictures.
Mhm.
And he gave me a
Mhm.
warning that one of the evidence pictures was a picture of my victim's body. And
Right.
I asked him if he could please skip over those, but we're over Zoom. And so he tried to, but he ended up accidentally showing me anyways. And
Mhm.
that really messed me up mentally. Like I couldn't sleep for a long time after that. Every time I did sleep, I saw those pictures in my head, which was, eye opener. The whole situation is an eye opener, but seeing the cause to your actions live
Mhm.
like that, that's something that hits different. Seeing someone's lifeless body laying like
Mhm.
that is an eye opener. That is
Mhm.
one of the most humbling experiences you could probably ever have. But
So when you went to the hearing to take the plea deal, was the victim's family allowed to give a victim statement?
I don't want to sound insensitive when I say this, but the victim's family did not
Mhm.
want to come to any of the court hearings unless they knew they were getting money out of the whole situation. So once they
Why
found
do you
out that,
think that?
that's what I was told.
Mm.
The my
Mhm. And
the vic-
why would they think they were going to get money? Why would they think that?
the victim's lawyer is who told
Mhm.
my lawyer that. They were asking like about what assets I have, if there's anything in my name, if they're going to
I
get
see.
anything out of my insurance. And once everything
Mhm.
was no, they didn't want anything to do with it. The
Mhm.
day of my sentencing, when I went in, it wasn't even the original prosecutor that came. She sent in someone under her to come and take care of the rest.
Mhm. Okay.
Sorry.
So,
Oh, it was my little
that
one. Sorry. Baby girl, stop. Sorry.
um so I'm curious, between the time that you were arrested and the time that you took the plea and you had your sentencing hearing,
Hmm.
what was going through your mind during that time, and how much support did you have
Which
during
part?
that time? Because you were out on bail, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. And who were you living with while you were out on bail?
I was at my own apartment actually. At the time, I was put on ankle monitor, which was just monitoring if I have alcohol in my system at the time. But the
Mhm.
actual monitor box was at my apartment. So
Mhm.
I was pretty much at my apartment the whole time because I had to be by it at certain times. And
Mhm.
if I felt like I needed to go to my grandmother's house, I had to ask my lawyer first to see if
Mhm.
I could unplug my box and bring it to her house. So, but most of the time I was in my own apartment.
Now, I want to talk about your daughter because your daughter is 2, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So, did you have her after the accident?
Yes. So my
Oh.
accident happened November 14th.
Mhm.
I found out I was a month pregnant January 12th.
Oh, wow.
So I got pregnant with her after my accident happened. So sometime in December.
Right. Right.
Yes.
And so you knew you were pregnant when you took the plea deal.
Yes.
Okay. And so does that mean you had your child in prison?
No. So
No.
my daughter was born August 2022.
Mhm.
I took my deal, I want to say maybe September or October.
Mhm.
And they wanted me to actually start my sentence in November.
Mhm.
But at that time, my daughter was severely sick. She had RSV, and she ended up being in
Mm.
the hospital for like 2.5, 3 weeks. So I
Mhm.
begged my lawyer if I sent him proof and everything, like stuff from her My Chart pictures.
Mhm.
So I sent him proof to see if he could ask for a little bit longer time because I they can arrest me after the fact, but I'm not going to leave my daughter when I know she's in the hospital. She literally has IV and tubes and not eating. I'm
Mhm.
not going to leave her at that time. So
Right.
then they pushed it back to January when I was supposed to start my sentence. But then
Mhm.
there was some type of strike on judges and stuff like that. So I was supposed to go in January, Friday the 13th, actually. But then
Mhm.
it ended up getting pushed to February 15th, 2023 is when I started my sentence.
Okay. I see people in the chat saying the video keeps freezing. It's not freezing on my end. So let me just look at something here. Hmm. I don't know what would be making it freeze. Okay, let me know if it does it again. Why am I talking loud at the chat? Y'all know what I mean. Let me know if it does it again. So, what did you end up pleading to? What was the plea deal that you took?
48 months.
48 months. Okay.
Yes.
So, um, hmm, about 4 years.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, about 4 years. And how much time did you end up serving altogether?
20 months
20
altogether.
months. Okay.
So
And
before I went in, I was doing a bunch of research because I knew Purdy had a program for women who are pregnant.
mhm.
But at the time when my lawyer was looking into it, they said that you have to be like lower, like 30 weeks or less to join the program. And I was
Mhm.
already 32 weeks pregnant. So I couldn't do the program. So I was like, okay. So I end up just going on the DLC website and seeing if there's any type of early release programs.
Mhm.
And I wasn't eligible for FOSA, which is Family Offender Sentencing Alternative, which pretty
Mhm.
much means you just do your sentencing at home. You got to check in and stuff like that. But because someone passed in my case, I wasn't
Right.
able to. So then I found the program, the Community Parenting Alternative, which is what I'm on now, and you do half of your sentence in and you finish the rest of your sentence at home.
Um,
So
okay, I see.
yeah, so right now I'm on ankle monitor. I'll be finishing out my sentence, which is October of this year.
Mhm.
So yeah.
So, what have you learned about yourself from this experience?
The number one thing is humble.
Mhm.
I have to admit, before all this happened, I was not humble at all. I was very
Mhm.
reckless in a lot of things that I do. I was
Mhm.
very closed minded. I was very, like I said, reckless with a lot of things, my actions, my words. Like I said, it wasn't my first time drinking and driving, so I felt like I could do that now,
Mhm.
and I
Mhm.
could do it, just fine to make it home. But I was clearly humbled in the most humbling way you could possibly do that. I learned to be grateful because during my time, I had nothing but love and support from my family. My family
Mhm.
came up, if it wasn't every weekend, every other weekend. Um, I learned unconditional love. My
Mhm.
grandmother, 82 years old, made it up there every weekend. My brother works two jobs,
Mhm.
had at the time a fiance. They now are married, but would come and get my daughter every weekend, bring her up.
Mhm.
My goddad, 83 years old, would also come up. Um,
Mhm.
I just learned that sometimes the unexpected happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and I was very in denial when I first started. I was very closed minded to a lot of things. I just wanted to just sit there, do my time, let my time do me. Um,
Mhm.
but I learned to take advantage of whatever opportunity given to me while in. I learned
Mhm.
that instead of dwelling on my situation, make it a learning experience for not only me but other people. Whenever I would
Mhm.
call like my friends on the weekend and they're telling me they're going out, I would always ask them, okay, who's the DD tonight, the designated driver? Who's make sure this person's not drinking, or please be safe. I don't ever want to be that helicopter friend, because people are grown.
Mhm.
They're going to do what they want to do. I can't stop them from doing what they want to do or how they want to do it. But I just hope
Mhm.
that they can just use me for example and just understand that the unexpected happens when you least expect it.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. Did you lose friendships after this
Oh,
happened?
most definitely.
Yeah.
Now I only have like two good friends that I literally cherish and adore
Mhm.
because they stuck by me.
Mhm.
They answered my calls. One of them is my daughter's godmother, who I've been friends
Mhm.
with for since high school. And we've had our moments too, but she's always been there. She would send me money. She used to get my daughter. But I understand, they have a life too, but those two, they stuck around. I had a friend who I was really close to, and I remember when I got out, she told me that I posted a picture of myself pretty much saying I'm
Mhm.
out. And she said, and I posted it to, I don't know if you know who T Grizzly is, but I posted it to the
Mhm.
song First Day Out. It's a song that he
Mhm.
made when he first got out of prison, pretty much. And I posted it to that song. And she said, instead of posting pictures, the first thing you should have did is went out and fed the homeless.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it hit me, and I'm like, wow, like that's really what you think of me, that's really how you feel. But do you understand like how cliche and how corny that would have been
Mhm.
if I'm going to do something out of the goodness out of my heart, I'm not going to go post it on the internet.
Right.
I'm not going to go show casting, and I'm going to do it because I want to do it. So instead of doing that, I like to do stuff like this. I want to, like I said, be an
Mhm.
example. I'm in
Mhm.
outpatient treatment right now, and I was doing intensive
Mhm.
outpatient before I started my sentence. So I kind of gained a really good
Mhm.
relationship with them. And once I can start working, they want me to start doing victims panels there. So I'm excited to do
Okay.
that because a lot of victims panels, you
What is
only
that?
hear
What is that?
uh, victim panels are something you have to do when you do get a DUI or you get, a
Mm.
charge fine, and you go hear stories of people who have lost loved ones due to drunk driving or driving under the influence of something. But you
Okay. Okay.
only typically hear the stories of people who have lost someone, but you never hear
Mhm.
the story of someone who has caused it.
Right.
So,
Right. And do you feel like that is allowing you to make amends for what happened?
mm,
Do you
I've
feel
been
like
asked,
you need to make amends?
of course I do. I feel like I don't
Yeah.
want that person's life or name to go in vain, but I also don't want people
Hmm.
to feel like it's a is scapegoat the right word? Like I don't want people to feel
Hmm.
like, oh, she's only doing this so she could feel better about herself
Oh,
type of. That's what I don't
right,
want
right.
because I'll never feel good about myself because of the situation. Just
Mhm.
because I'm home doesn't mean that I'm just happy go lucky. If anything, since I've been home, I'm being complete. I've been really sad actually because it's like
Mhm.
I feel guilty. Yes, I'm
Mhm.
ecstatic to be home with my daughter and to be able to build a relationship with my daughter. And that's my little best friend right there. But at the same time, it's like I don't feel good about myself. I don't feel
Mhm.
like I'm uh worthy in a way.
Mhm. I remember you saying though in the pre-interview that you're in counseling too. Is that right?
Yes, every week.
Okay. Okay, good. I think
Yes.
you'll be able to work out those feelings in counseling.
That's what I'm working on
Yeah.
because it's hard. Even during my time in prison, I was so
Mhm.
hard on myself. I went to COA, which is closed uh close observation area for attempted
Mhm.
suicide, you know?
Mm.
And I felt so bad at the time because my roommate knew that I was sad and her and I were pretty close, but she didn't know how dark of a place I was in. And
Mhm.
so her seeing me in that situation, seeing because when you are taken out with that, you're put
Mhm.
in complete shackles. You're escorted
Mhm.
by like two or three officers.
Mhm.
So, I felt bad because I kind of traumatized her in a way, but I was gone. I was still in postpartum. When I started my sentence, my daughter was only 5 months old. So I was still in
Right.
postpartum. I was still lactating.
Mhm.
At the time,
Mhm.
her dad and I weren't in a good place. So I was always arguing with him because I didn't know what my child was doing, who she was with, who she was around. I couldn't be around her constantly. So I was always
Mhm.
at his neck and it was just making me stress out more, which wasn't helping the situation.
Mhm.
So I felt like I was everywhere. My emotions were everywhere. I was always sad. Uh, I
Mhm.
slept a lot of
Mhm.
my time away, a lot, just
Mhm.
to try to make the days go by faster.
And you haven't been out that long. You just got out in October, right? Of
Yeah,
last
it
year.
was It's been 90 something days. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So
Do you feel like you have matured in certain areas, and if so, in what ways?
I feel like, yes, I have. There's still a lot more growth to be done. I'm
Mhm.
never done growing. I feel like no matter how old you are, you can still grow and learn different things.
Mhm.
I feel
Mhm.
like I have a different mentality on a lot of things. I'm
Mhm.
still learning that not every action deserves a reaction. I'm still learning how to deal with
That's a,
situations. What was that?
that was a good one. Not every action deserves a reaction.
Yeah, I'm learning
Yeah.
that I don't have control of a lot of things. Just like in
Mhm.
prison, you don't control anything. They tell you when you have to go to your room. They tell you when you can shower. They tell you
Mhm.
when you can use the bathroom. They tell you when you got to wake up, when you can go eat and stuff like that, unless you have commissary. But, so I'm learning that I don't have control over a lot of things and to not let it
Mhm.
make or break me because there's nothing I can do about it at the end of the day. The only thing I have
Why do
control over,
you,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I need to interrupt you. Why do you think you needed a humbling experience? What was going on with you? Do you feel like you were arrogant before your accident?
Oh yes, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was out there. I felt like I needed to be that. I'll say girl instead of BTC
Mhm.
BITCH. I felt like I was that
Mhm.
girl. I felt
Appreciate
like
that.
of course, I felt like I had to react to every action. I
Mhm.
felt like I had to make it be known, okay, you messed me over. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing
Mhm.
back to you twice. I felt like
Mhm.
I had to be dramatic and all the drama about things. I felt like I had to really just do too much. I've done a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that I genuinely am so regretful for, that I'm so
Mm-hmm.
ashamed of, that I never want my daughter to do the things I've done when someone has hurt her feelings or broke her heart or backstabbed her or
Mm-hmm.
said certain things to her, you know? I never want her to do the things that I did, because what I did, I'm ashamed that I even did, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I definitely feel like if this didn't happen, I know for sure my daughter wouldn't be here. And I know
Mm-hmm.
for sure I probably still, at this grown big age that I am, probably would still
Mm-hmm.
be reacting to things the way I shouldn't be reacting to them, how I am, how I did.
You think you would still be drinking and driving?
Probably. Probably not as heavily. I hated driving in the first place. So every
Mm-hmm.
time I usually did go out, I was riding with someone, but probably, yeah. Because I
Mm-hmm.
was an avid marijuana smoker too. So
Mm-hmm.
if it wasn't weed, it was alcohol. If it wasn't alcohol, if it was weed, sometimes it was both. So probably, I'm not
So
gonna lie.
what have you done to replace those things in your life? Because it sounds like alcohol and marijuana were a big part of who you were as a person. So what have you done to replace those things? Since you're in treatment, you're in counseling, you're being monitored, what are the alternatives now?
Um, I'm in school now, so,
Mhm.
and it's all online school, so a lot of school. I'm in therapy
Mhm.
every week. I have my daughter majority of the time, so taking her to school, and then once she gets dropped off, gotta give her a bath. I'm playing with her, or reading, or we're just chilling. I like to paint. I don't know if you can see, but I have like a lot of like canvas
Yeah, I
painting.
do.
I
Mhm,
like
I
to
see it.
canvas paint a lot.
Yeah.
That's like my therapy. I can put on some good old music and just paint. Um, I need to get into working out, but probably not. But I need to. I have
Yeah.
to ask with the program I'm on, I have to ask to do anything. So with gym memberships, it's kind of a contract. So I have to ask before I can sign up for the gym. Just like if I
Mhm.
want to upgrade my phone, I have to ask permission first. Or, you know, um, right now I can only be out on like an outing for 5 hours a day.
Mhm.
Once I hit 4 months, it goes up to like 12 hours a day. So I'm on a strict program, which is it's just fine. It's teaching me a routine, because I had a
Mhm.
routine in prison. So having a
Mhm.
routine here helps me do my time. I'm
Mhm.
technically I'm still doing time. I'm just doing it at home.
At home, yeah.
Let me do my time a little bit more easier. I am
So
allowed to go on outings, so I take my daughter out on outings sometimes, which helps my time go by faster too.
I'm curious. So your victim's family they weren't opposed to you getting a shorter sentence. Did they ever have that conversation with your attorney? Or was that
I
messaging ever given to you?
I'm not sure. The only family that I knew my victim had, I think, was a brother that was in
Mm.
California,
Okay. Okay.
and I that's all I know. I know before I got out, you have to do a victim's notification, pretty much letting either your victim or your county know that you are releasing soon.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so there was nobody to notify in my county. Like I said, he's in California. So
Mhm.
they just had to notify, I think it's the sheriff's department or something, notifying
Mhm.
them that they're coming home. So
Mhm.
that's all I know of.
So where would you say you are in your spiritual life? Do you
I do pray.
Mhm.
I believe that things happen for a reason.
Mhm.
I believe that that's a hard question. My
Mm.
therapist has asked me that, and I had a hard time answering that too. I'm trying to believe in anything can happen at any time, you know? I'm very
Mhm.
open minded to things now. I'm very optimistic about things now. Instead of
Mhm.
seeing my glass half empty, I'm trying to look at it as half full.
Yeah.
Optimistic instead of pessimistic. So I'm trying. It is very hard because I'm not allowed to work for a certain amount of time, so not having any money coming in, uh,
Mhm.
being a
Yeah.
single parent. We co-parent good, but being a single parent, you know,
Mhm.
and two separate households. So there's that. And then just, I feel like I've lost myself as an individual. I don't know who I am. I know that I'm Miyeko. I
Mhm.
know I'm a mom, and I know I'm a felon. That's all.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
don't know who I am, if that makes sense.
I do. Yes, it does. So that's who you identify yourself as
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Okay. Again, I think continuing with counseling will help you work through all of that
Yes.
because none of us are the mistakes that we've made. Our mistakes don't have to define us. Whether it was accidentally killing someone or whatever the mistake, our mistakes don't have to define us. But in order to turn things around, we got to get that lesson out of whatever happened. And I feel like you did. I feel like you got the lesson. And if you continue to go to counseling, continue to go to treatment, I think you'll continue to grow and develop and learn and evolve, and things will just begin to get better and better for you. That's my prayer for you. That's what I want for you.
That's what I want for myself. I'm just trying to mentally get myself there. Like my CCO, cause I get UA'd every week, and
Mhm,
so he comes by, he does my UA, and he was just saying like, "What's wrong?" Like he could tell that something was wrong on my face, and
mhm,
I was telling him the exact same thing as you. Like I don't know who I am, and he was just telling me like, "Stop being so hard on yourself." Like you're it's hard to get accepted for this program, and you got accepted. You know, you haven't gotten in trouble, you're doing what you need to do, you're with your daughter. You know, it's just
mhm.
this is all temporary right now. Like this is not your forever. You
Right,
know, you're going to
right.
be able to come back from this. And he was kind of not getting mad at me, but he was getting annoyed with me because of how hard I've been on myself. You know, like
Mhm,
it's been hard to the point where I asked them if they can just send me back because being
mhm,
out here has been so overwhelming, you know.
mm, mhm.
So I'm like
Yeah.
at was institutionalized, you
Mhm,
know. So I was like,
mhm.
I want to go back and just finish my time, you know. And he was like,
Mhm.
no, like I'm not even gonna remotely put that in there, no.
Yeah.
And so I've just been trying to just be easier on myself and just take my time and just understand that not everything needs to be rushed. Not everything's
Mhm,
gonna happen within a blink of an eye. And a lot of the things that I want to get done is not my fault that I can't get it done. It's just the program that I'm on doesn't allow me to get it done.
mm. Yeah.
So I have to just understand that it's not that I don't want to do it. It's not that I can't, or that that I can't do it. It's just right now I'm not allowed to do it.
Mhm. It's so interesting that you said that because in church today, the message that was given was all about how to surrender to God the things that we cannot control. And once you learn how to do that, life will begin to smooth itself out. But when we try to take a little piece off of our issue, problem, concern, and then give the rest to God, eventually you're going to go back and get the rest too. And you're going to be dragging that thing around with you. So I would just encourage you to pray and ask God to help you to surrender
Yeah.
those things that are too heavy for you to carry. That's my encouragement for you. And I really pray that you, and it seems like you do have a great support system around you. Is that true right
Yeah.
now?
Everybody's actually here right now. A lot of like my close family.
Yeah.
It's my brother and my goddad. Their birthdays are 2 days apart, so we're having a big Sunday dinner right
Mhm.
now. Everybody's up there. I think they're
Nice.
watching their phone in there. Uh, saw my sister in
Oh,
law.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I think she's in there
Mhm.
watching right now.
Now, you also had one of your counselors at school that was a huge support for
Yeah.
you, Miss
Uh,
Mitchell, and she's in the chat. She is in the chat.
Hi.
She said, God can use all things, and that is 100% right.
Let me
Everything we
do,
go through.
let me tell you about a literal angel on earth. I met Miss Mitchell when I was in middle school. She was
Mm-hmm.
my sixth grade guidance counselor. And hi, Mr. Miller. I see him too. My class
Yeah.
was her first class as a guidance counselor. And even after I left, I graduated from middle school. I was still in contact with her in high school. After high school, I was still in contact with her. Um, we had stopped talking a little bit after I graduated. And then when my accident happened, a good friend of mine
Mm-hmm.
was telling me about a group that they do like every Tuesday over Zoom with other people from our class. And so he was telling me about it, and I was able to join them every Tuesday, and it was kind of like an outlet for me. And Miss Mitchell has always been there. That lady has never
Mm-hmm.
said or been negative. Like, as bright as these lights are on me right now, that is her. She is always the brightest of lights in dark times. She is always full of wisdom and full of praise, and she is phenomenal. Everybody needs a Miss Mitchell in their life because she came to come
Wow.
to me. uh
Mm-hmm.
I was all the way in Belfair, Washington. I've never even heard of Belfair, and she came and she drove with my grandmother and my goddad, and it turns out my goddad knows Miss Mitchell's dad, and they got to
Mm-hmm.
connect. So, and now they text each other, and they have a friendship now. And she's just amazing. When I got home, I posted a picture of it. I wish I can put it in the chat, but she came and she got me this big old laundry basket full of hygiene products,
Mm-hmm.
full of it.
Yeah.
And I'm still stocked up on it till this day. And she's just amazing. Like, whenever she's thinking about me, she'll send me like prayer hands and a heart emoji, or she'll just check
Mm-hmm.
in. Or we had her over for, I think it was Thanksgiving for a little bit, and she's just amazing. I can go on and on and on about her, but I love and adore that lady, and she just deserves everything special in her life. I love
Yeah.
her. Hi, Miss
I'm not
Mitchell.
sure if she. Oh, it looks like your aunt might be in the chat, Sandra.
Oh, hey, she's all the way in Atlanta.
You have a lot of love in this chat. You really, really do. This is Mr. Miller's sister saying
Hi,
welcome.
Anita. I
Uh,
want to actually. Miss Mitchell has been asking me if I want to go to his church, and I actually really do. It's just
mhm.
hard because I have my daughter on the weekends.
Yeah, Miss Mitchell said, "Love you so much."
Mm,
Kristen, if you would like to come up and join us in the studio, you are more than welcome. I can send you the link to come up if you want to join us right quick before we end the interview. So just let me know and I'll send you the link. I'll put the link in the chat. Yeah, you have a lot of love in this chat. And I think you might remember when we had the pre-interview and I kept telling you do one thing at a time.
yes.
One focus on one thing at a time. Right now, your sobriety, your daughter, and your education are
I
the
don't know if you
three most important things that you.
that whiteboard right
Mhm.
here in the middle, right
Yeah, I
here.
see it. Mhm.
So before I
Yeah.
got out, because I was so worried about that, what am I going to focus on
Mhm.
first? I made a vision board,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like a check
Mhm.
off list. Everything that I've been trying to accomplish and want to
Yeah.
accomplish, I check it off on there. So
Yeah.
it's been helping me. It's been helping me just stay motivated, because sometimes I feel like I'm stuck. Like, okay, what do I do next? What do I need to aim for? What
Mhm.
do I need to do? So that helps me stay focused. That helps me stay organized.
Mhm.
It is hard sometimes because I feel like I could be doing a lot more, but I have to understand it's baby steps.
Yes, it's baby steps, and if you try to do too much, you won't get anything done.
Yes,
So
I
you
feel like
just got to do
probably
one thing at
now
a time.
I do too much at one time.
Yeah. Auntie has a message for you.
Okay, I'll call you.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you have a friend.
That's her daughter.
Vision boards are always a go-to. Love.
That's
Okay,
actually her
nice.
daughter. Hey, tweets.
Nice. Wonderful. Well, I want you to know, Miyeko, that I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
After we did our pre-interview, I just thought, oh, okay, okay, Lord, you got her attention now.
Yeah,
Now she's going to start moving in the right direction, and I still feel that way 100%. I do. You're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all
I'm
right.
trying to
You just
find
gotta
my
get jump through a couple hurdles.
yes. I always tell
Yeah.
myself that it's not about how you finish, it's about well, it is about how you finish, but are you gonna go through the obstacles or go around them or are you gonna try to accomplish them? I don't wanna try to
Right.
find the easy way through things because I feel like anything that comes too easy in life is not worth it. And it always has some type of
Mm.
consequence at the end of it. So I'd
Mhm.
rather work for everything that I want in life right now because why not?
Mhm. And
And I feel
remember,
like
sometimes
that
it's easy.
family.
Sometimes things are easier because you've released control of trying to do it yourself too.
Yes.
So keep that in mind too.
Yes, I will.
All right, let me see what Miss Mitchell said. She may not be in the chat anymore. I don't see her. Well, thank you for being with me tonight. I appreciate it. I think that your story is going to help a lot of people. It's going to inspire, empower, and uplift a lot of people. And if you can keep one person from drinking and driving, then this message that you shared tonight was not in vain.
That's the goal. Just I want people to still have fun, live their life, but just do it responsibly.
Yeah.
I know Ubers are expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than lawyers. It's a lot cheaper than bail money. It's a lot cheaper and than having to ask people constantly for commissary money or money on your books. So
Mm-hmm.
just spend that little bit of money on a D on a not a DUI on a Uber, a Lyft. If you gotta pay
Mm-hmm.
someone, get money, do what you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do. It's not worth it.
Now, when I want to just say this before we go, when you were in prison, you earned a certification, right?
Yes, I earned a couple certifications actually. I'm a certified peer counselor now. I got
Mm-hmm.
a certificate in Ajax, which is you learn how to build airplane parts for like Boeing and how to make blueprints and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I started school while I was in. I'm finishing now that I'm in here. Now that I'm out, I changed my major
Mm-hmm.
from business to human services. Yeah.
Okay, good. That's good. I'm telling you, that education is going to be the key.
Yes.
Even if you have to create something of your own that will allow you to earn income, you may have to go through the back door to get what you want. But
Yeah.
having that education is going to help you do that.
Yeah. It's gonna be kind of like the key
Yeah,
to success. Be my own boss in a way.
exactly. Exactly. Miss Mitchell says she's not camera ready. You can come up without your camera if you want to. I want to hear from you. I want to talk to you about what it was about Miyeko that made you say in your mind, okay, I need to help her walk this thing out. I need to stay with her and walk this out with her. So, but it's up to you. It's okay. If you want me to put the link in there, okay. I'm gonna send you the link.
Love her. I've been trying to
That's
take her
good.
out to dinner and stuff like that to have lunch, but that is one picky lady right there. She don't like nothing.
I remember in the pre-interview you spoke so highly of her, just like you did tonight. So I just want to hear from her, what made her want to stick with you when other people walked away. She could have walked away too, but she chose not to. And if she keeps freezing on me, it might be on my end. Okay, we'll give her a second to see if she can get in.
Okay.
Uh, if not, how's your daughter?
Good. I can let me call her. Maybe. Hold on.
Okay.
Yanni bug, come here, baby.
See if you can click the link, Kristen, so we can bring you up.
Come here, baby. Come here. Someone wants to say. Oh,
It's in the chat. I put it in the chat for you.
Want to say hi?
Can you see it?
Oh. You say hi? Okay, say hi first. Say hi.
Oh, you know what? Hold on, hold on. I'm gonna put it in the
Yeah, chocolate on your face. Can I have some? Can I have some? All gone. It all gone? Yeah. You want to say hi?
I'm gonna inbox it to you, Kristen.
I tried. She's eating chocolate ice cream right now.
Oh, she's eating ice cream.
Yeah, she has chocolate all
Oh,
over.
what's her name?
Miani.
Miani. Oh. Okay, Kristen, I sent it to your inbox. Uh-oh. Miss Mitchell is having some technical difficulties. We may not be able to bring her up, but thank you again for being with us tonight. I appreciate it, and keep in touch with me. I want to know how you're doing.
I definitely will, especially hearing my sister-in-law talk so highly of you too. Like, yep, I'm a right there.
Yeah. Oh, I love me some Karina. I
Yes.
do. And if I run across any resources that I think you can use, I will definitely send them to you. And those that are watching, if you come across any resources that Miyeko may be able to use, please let me know. Reach out to me, and I will forward that information to her. She's looking for a place that will allow her to use her certified peer counseling certification. That while she's going to school. So if you know of anyone or any programs that will allow her to use that credential, please let me know, and I will let her know. Okay.
Thank you in advance.
You're welcome. Well, have a great evening. Continue doing what you're doing, which is focusing on yourself and your daughter and your education and your sobriety. Those are the most important aspects of your life. Oh, Miss Mitchell's here. She
Oh,
made it.
yay!
Let me see if I can bring her up. Can you hear us, Kristen?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear
Hi!
you. Hi.
Hi.
I miss you.
I'm on the show. Okay. What would you like to know?
I'm curious to know because you were Miyeko's counselor when she was in middle school, did you say?
Mhm.
Middle school? Okay. And so how did you find out about
Yes.
the accident?
Um, well, like Miyeko said, we had kept in touch somewhat after middle school, and then I had during COVID,
Mhm,
her class was my very first class at Giadroni, and
mhm,
those kids, I think because they were my first, as they moved up to becoming adults, they
mhm,
just kept in touch more than any other class I'd had. And during COVID, I know a lot of them were struggling, as many people were, just feeling disconnected, not being
mhm,
able to gather. And so I'd spoken to a few of them about, hey, what if we did kind of a and I could get some prayer requests. And we met on Zoom on
mhm,
Mondays. And one of the guys that's in the group had shared, um, actually, maybe even before that, like Miyeko said, I started seeing some activity about the news article on social
mhm,
media. And
mhm,
so I think that was the first time I was alerted. And then one of the guys in the group had shared a little bit more, had been in touch. And I
mhm,
said, if you could please ask her to join, I would really love her to come, or even if she just wants to meet with me, because I wasn't really sure because of the backlash of, people
mhm.
people's response to what comfortable
Right.
in this small group. But I was so thankful. It was an answer to prayer. She
Mhm,
did join. And I just feel like, when you're going through hard times, the biggest thing is to have support. And
mhm,
I feel like having that group was some support that she desperately needed, and they showed to be real friends and to stick by her side.
So you visited her while she was in prison, is that right?
Yes. So it was there was a lot going on. Because did you, let's see, you went in 22? I mean
Mm-hmm.
2000, was it 22?
23.
23. Okay. So yeah, 23. So that was, my mom was had Alzheimer's, and she was rapidly declining in
Mm-hmm.
23. And so I did not get a chance to see Miyeko until 24. And just also, I was very sensitive to COVID and restrictions and things like that. But yes, I was able to see her there. And yeah, I had known her grandma, who basically raised her. So I'd known
Mm-hmm.
her as her parent and guardian when she was at Giadroni. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just such a blessing to be able to take her and her godfather, which Miyeko shared. Her
Mm-hmm.
godfather ended up knowing my biological dad, who had passed when I was 8. So that was
Mm-hmm.
a very full circle moment with me as well. And then just to see her there. And then kind of ironically, she had shared that another former student of mine was also in that same facility.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And I
Well,
think
thank you for
that's,
being the counselor
oh,
that every young person needs, according to Miyeko. Every
oh,
young
well,
person needs a Miss Mitchell.
thank you so much. I feel that it's not just a profession, but I do feel it's, my calling. And how God has people, that he sends people on missions trips to China and India and Africa. Well, he sent me to Giadroni,
Mhm.
and it's just as wild. So I'm thankful to
Wow.
have been there, and being able to just meet amazing individuals like Miyeko, who has persevered through some really challenging times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And
thank
I
you
love
for
her so
coming up,
much.
Kristen. I appreciate
I
it.
love
She loves you.
Yes,
Thank you so
absolutely.
much for coming up into the studio.
Thank you.
Bye.
All
Love you.
right.
Bye. Love you too.
That's awesome. All right. Well, that's our show for tonight, everybody. I 100% appreciate you for watching tonight, for tuning in. Say a prayer for Miyeko. She's got work to do, but she can do it. She can do it. She's got a million and one reasons to continue to allow God to transform her life. That's the way I see it. My prayer is that you will begin to see yourself as whole and as having a failing, but not being a failure. Our failings do not make us failures.
I
It's
like
just a lesson that God would have us learn. And if we get that lesson, we can then down the road somewhere teach that lesson to someone else. So you
right.
just continue to do what you know you need to do as a mother and as someone who wants to have a better life for yourself and your daughter. And you focus on that. And then everything else will just begin to fall in line. And even when it doesn't fall in line the way you think it will, just know that God is for you. God is for you. Your family is for you. Miss Mitchell and the people who love you, they are for you. So if you need help, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. You don't have to know it all. You ain't been here long enough. There's people that have been here a lot longer than you. And so if you need help, don't be afraid to ask for help. And you can
Yes.
ask me.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you for being here tonight. And I'll be praying for you. You take care.
Thank you. Good night. Thank you again.
Good night. All right, everybody. That's our show. Thank you again for tuning in. That was really good. That was really good. I 100% believe Miyeko is going to be okay. 5 years from now, she'll look back and she'll say, I had to get it the hard way, but I got it. I got it now. And she's going to be able to teach her daughter what not to do. And that's the most important thing out of all of this. Her daughter won't have to repeat the mistakes that she's made because her mom is more self-aware now, or she will be if she continues to work on herself. So praise God. Praise God. Today's just been a great Sunday. I mean, from Sunday school to now, I had a great day today. I hope you did too. And I hope you will join me again on the Girl Talk Sunday podcast. We'll be back in February on the 19th with a brand new guest who's coming to share a compelling story about how she had to hit the restart button on her own life in order to start over and get it right the second time. All right. So we'll be here on February 19th. 6 o'clock p.m. live on Facebook and YouTube. Until then, God bless you and good night.